Ukraine says a strike on Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters in the Crimean city of Sevastopol left dozens dead and wounded, including senior leadership. Russia has so far only said a soldier was missing. Friday's strike was the latest and one of the most ambitious in a series of Ukrainian attacks on Crimea, the peninsula illegally annexed by Russia in 2014. The general leading Ukraine's counteroffensive says his forces have broken through in the southern village of Verbov and predicts an even bigger breakthrough to come. Kyiv's campaign has struggled in the face of stiff Russian defenses. Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki told Volodymyr Zelensky never to insult Poles again after the Ukrainian president suggested his neighbor was putting on a show over their disputes on grain exports. The general leading Ukraine's fight along the southern front line spoke this week about his focus in the fiercely contested Zaporizhzhia region. Gen. Oleksandr Tarnivsky believes Ukraine's big breakthrough, the biggest of its ongoing counteroffensive, is yet to come, he told CNN's senior international correspondent Frederick Pleitgen during an exclusive interview Friday. "I think it will happen after Tokmak," Tarnivsky said, referring to a city that serves as a southern strategic hub for Russia. Located about 20 kilometers 12 miles from the positions where Ukrainian troops are currently fighting. At the moment they are relying on the depth of their defensive line there, rather than the Surovikin line, which is a defensive line built on the orders of former Gen. Sergei Surovikin. Tarnivsky says the bigger issues are the crossroads, tree lines and minefields between the tree lines. There is a combination of small, harmful enemy defense groups that currently are planted very precisely and competently, he said. But the actions of our fighters force them to slowly pull back when they face our assault squads. Positive about the ultimate outcome, the general conceded that for the counteroffensive to be a success, Ukrainian forces need to at least reach Tokmak. Tokmak is the minimum goal, he said. The overall objective is to get to our state borders. Tarnivsky said Friday that his forces had made a breakthrough near the village of Verbov, located northeast of Tokmak in Ukraine's southern Zaporizhzhia region. Ukraine has launched one of its most ambitious attacks yet on Crimea, targeting Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Sevastopol. The Crimean Peninsula was illegally annexed by Russia in 2014, and Ukraine has vowed to reclaim it. Here's what we know. What happened? Ukraine said its forces carried out a successful missile attack on the naval HQ Friday. A fire broke out in the aftermath of the attack, which also left debris scattered hundreds of meters away. Plumes of smoke could be seen pouring from the building, while officials also said shrapnel landed in a nearby theater. What has Ukraine said? The country's Special Operations Forces said Saturday that the strike was timed for when senior members of Russia's Navy were convening and has left dozens dead and wounded, including senior leadership. Ukrainian officials have commented on the strike, with the chairman of the Mejlis of the Crimean Tatar people in Ukraine, Rifat Chubarov, thanking those involved in the operation to liberate Crimea. Another Ukrainian official said that Russia's Black Sea Fleet could be sliced up like a salami. What has Russia said? Russia's Ministry of Defense has said only one soldier is missing following the attack. As a result of the attack, the historical headquarters building of the Black Sea Fleet was damaged, the Defense Ministry stated, adding that 5 missiles were also shot down by their air defense systems. CNN has not been able to verify Ukraine's claim it killed Russian naval leaders. What does it mean for the war? Hitting Russian facilities on occupied Crimea is a display of Ukraine's confidence and the vulnerability of said vital infrastructure. There are plenty of reasons for Ukraine to target Crimea. It's a sign that despite the slow progress on the front lines in its counteroffensive, Ukraine can still inflict serious damage on the Russian military. Targets such as the Crimea Bridge have considerable symbolic value as well as strategic purpose. Ukrainian Defense Intelligence spokesperson Andriy Yusov said the ultimate goal, of course, is the de-occupation of Ukrainian Crimea. New sanctions against Russia are not needed because they cause more harm to Europe than Russia, Hungary's Foreign Minister Péter Szijjártó said in an interview with Russian state media TASS Friday. Szijjártó said he was speaking from a pragmatic point of view, according to TASS, adding that the new packages of sanctions are not necessary. The foreign minister said supplies of Ukrainian grain to Central European countries will destroy their agricultural sector. If Ukrainian grain starts to spread into Central European countries, it will definitely destroy the agricultural markets of Central Europe. Not to mention our farmers whom we obviously need to protect, Zijardo continued as cited by TASS. Poland and Slovakia have also imposed restrictions on Ukrainian grain exports, citing the same reasons after the European Union decided not to extend its ban on imports into those countries and fellow EU states Romania and Bulgaria. According to Zijardo, Hungary is ready to provide free transit of Ukrainian grain through its territory. He also noted that initially the agreement on lines of solidarity implied permission for the transit of Ukrainian agricultural products only. As I understand it, the Ukraine would prefer to distribute grain in Central Europe, but the original agreement on lines of solidarity was not about that, he said, according to TASS, adding that the agreement implied permission for transit and not for bilateral trade. The Ukrainian missile attack on the headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet is a sign that despite the slow progress on the front lines in its counteroffensive, Ukraine can still inflict serious damage on the Russian military. Targets such as the Crimea Bridge have considerable symbolic value as well as strategic purpose. It's also part of a broader effort in Crimea, Zaporizhzhia, Donetsk and Luhansk to hit Russian logistics, fuel, maintenance and command centers in order to disrupt their ability to supply the front lines. The Russian Black Sea Fleet has been involved in hundreds of cruise missile attacks against Ukraine and threatens merchant shipping using Ukrainian ports. Any disruption to its operation and command facilities, as well as the targeting of vessels at sea and in dock, is a win, especially after the Russian withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative in July. Ukraine has devoted considerable effort to degrading Russian air defenses in Crimea. That effort now appears to be paying off as Ukrainian Neptune missiles and most probably UK-provided Storm Shadows are capable of reaching targets deep inside Crimea. While some U.S. officials have been critical of Ukraine's concentration on Crimea, the Ukrainians argue that targeting anything to do with the Black Sea Fleet is worthwhile. As the Institute for the Study of War noted Thursday, elements of the Black Sea Fleet's 810th Naval Infantry Brigade are engaged in critical defensive operations in western Zaporizhzhia Oblast, and the Black Sea Fleet's 22nd Army Corps is defending positions on the east bank of Kherson Oblast. The general leading Ukraine's counteroffensive along the southern front line says his forces have broken through in the southern village of Verbov and predicts an even bigger breakthrough to come. On the left flank, near Verbov, we have a breakthrough and we continue to advance further, Oleksandr Tarnivsky told CNN senior international correspondent Frederick Pleitgen during an interview on Friday, though he conceded his troops were moving slower than anticipated. The general's claim is the latest indication by Ukrainian officials that inroads are being made on the southern front in the war with Russia. Ukrainian forces claimed in recent weeks to have penetrated the first line of Russian strongholds in the Zaporizhzhia region, where Verbov is located, in a sign that Kyiv is edging closer to Moscow's sprawling network of fortified trenches in southern Ukraine. But Russian-appointed officials in occupied Zaporizhzhia have given a different picture of the fighting. CNN is unable to verify the battlefield reports of either side. However, open-source analysis of available videos suggests that some Ukrainian units have crossed through an important line of Russian defenses near Verbov. Ukraine's long-term goal is to break Russia's land bridge, which links territory it holds in the east with annexed Crimea. At the beginning of September, Ukrainian forces said they had taken the village of Robotyne and were pushing east toward the village of Novoprokopivka. Soldiers said they expected battles for control of high ground to the south and east of the village as they approached the next layer of Russian defenses. Verbov is a few miles east from Robotyne.